episode number 4 in the second season for the Research Wednesday that is organized by the Research and Graduate Studies sector at Qatar University, which I'm honored actually to be the moderator for this forum discussion regarding the innovations in water treatment technology and the importance of academia-industry collaboration. We will focus especially on the advanced membrane fabrication as a case study. We have actually great 5 speakers today. Start with I will start introducing them with the order of the speech in the forum. So I start with Professor Zaidi. He is the Kafak Chair Professor. Professor Syed Javid Zaidi is a Kafak Chair Professor of Chemical Engineering in the Center for Advanced Materials. Also, he is currently coordinator of the Water Technology Unit at KU. He has his BSc in Chemical Engineering from Aligarh Muslim University in India and Master in Chemical Engineering from King Fahd University of Petroleum and Minerals, and PhD in Chemical Engineering from Laval University in Canada. He has more than 25 years of teaching and research experience in the area of clean water and clean energy. Also, he worked in King Fahd University for a long time and in University of Queensland, Australia, Laval University, Canada, and has been a visiting scholar at MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology in USA. He has also wide experience in water desalination research using membrane technology. He published more than 300 papers for more than 14 patents, US patents, and also patent applications. So he has conducted joint projects in reverse osmosis desalination collaboration with MIT, USA, and for the development of nanostructured membranes for reverse osmosis water desalination. He is the recipient of many national and international awards, including Excellent in Research Award, Patent Award, and Almeri Prize for Research Innovation, and Lifetime Achievement Award by the Venus International Foundation. Also, we do have today Dr. Samer Adham, who is the manager of ConocoPhillips Global Water Sustainability Center located at Qatar Science and Technology Park. His expertise is focused on developing innovative solutions for the environmental challenges worldwide, specifically in the fields of municipal and industrial wastewater treatment and reuse and water desalination. Dr. Adham is also an adjunct professor in the Center for Advanced Materials at Qatar University, where he provides industrial perspective on innovative technology developments and applications. He received his PhD in environmental engineering from University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, and his BSc in civil engineering from King Fahd University of Petroleum and Minerals in Saudi Arabia. Also, we have Dr. Muhammad Hassan, who is currently an assistant professor at the Center for Advanced Materials. He got his PhD in chemistry and polymer science from the University of Cincinnati in 2004 and joined the University of Southern Mississippi, where he participated in the development of a comprehensive vertically integrated fuel cell membranes program through support from the U.S. Department of Energy. His research interests include membrane development and characterization, polymer composites, and biodegradable polymers. He has published 1 patent and more than 80 articles in internationally renowned journals. His publication received more than 1,400 citation with H-index 22, according to the Google Scholar. His research has been funded with more than $300 million from the Qatar National Research Fund at Qatar Foundation, and also from Qatar University and US Air Force Office of Scientific Research. And he had multiple industrial collaborators in Qatar, as well as Boeing Research and Technology, 3M, DuPont, and Ball Corporation. Also, we do have today our great speaker, Dr. Karim Alamgir. Dr. Alamgir, he obtained his PhD in physics from Northwestern University, Illinois in 1992. Then he did a postdoc for 1 year in University of Minnesota before joining the NIST in Gettysburg, Maryland. In 2009, he became Goodyear Chair Professor of Polymer Engineering and co-director of Akron Functional Materials Center at University of Akron, and was the Associate Dean of Research and Institute Director. He has published more than to 220 papers with H Index 60 and edited several books in this area of polymer research. She's a fellow of the American Physical Society, as well as fellow of the American Association for Advancement of Science and recipient of Keck Foundation Award. He's presently the Dow Chair Professor and Director of Material Science and Engineering Program and Director of Polymer and Soft Matter Center at the University of Houston. Finally, we will have Dr. Mariam Al-Ajji. Dr. Mariam joined the Center for Advanced Materials as a research assistant in 2011. She worked on different projects that involved polymer composites, life cycle assessment for polymers, recycling polymers, nanocomposite polymers, and polymer mixed with natural fibers. She received lately her PhD in material science and engineering from Imperial College London in 2020. And here her research focuses on the characterization of engineering nanomaterials in different environmental conditions, the impact, bioavailability, and speciation of engineering nanomaterials in marine organisms, wastewater, sludge, and organic matters. She is interested in the transformation of silver nanoparticle and zinc nanoparticle by X-ray absorption spectroscopy. She had a master's degree in material science and engineering before that from the University of Sheffield. So this is a brief introduction. Actually, I removed a lot of information from the biography of everybody, but just for the sake of time, I will start my first question to Professor Syed Javid Zaidi. Dr. Zaidi, how did Qatar University promote the innovation in water technology in Qatar? What was the role of the university in promoting the innovation in water technology in Qatar?
Yeah. Okay. Assalamu alaikum and good morning in USA and good evening and in the Gulf region, Qatar. Thank you very much, Dr. Abubakar, for your nice introduction, for introducing me, and thank you also. I thank the organizers for inviting me and for having me here. To answer your questions, first of all, I would like I'll share some slide, but as far as promoting the water technology and water research in Qatar University, as you know, the Qatar is in Qatar, the water treatment desalination is very strategically important to the state of Qatar, and in fact, desalination is one of the grand challenges of Qatar national vision, of Qatar national strategy. So we have been working, Qatar University, our colleagues and many of our friends, we have been very active with the desalination research in Qatar University, especially developing different kind of membranes for various membrane technologies like reverse osmosis and forward osmosis desalination, and as well as membrane distillation. And in our center itself, in the Center for Advanced Materials, we have been very extensively working on the desalination research. And at the same time, we have a collaboration, a very active and strong collaboration with industry and the main water producing industry in Qatar, like QEWC, Qatar Water and Electricity Company, and they approach us based on our expertise and knowing our expertise. They approach us for their providing some solutions, and they have MOUs and agreements. And that also came in the idea that why don't we come up and we have a critical mass of researchers in Qatar University in our center, and then why don't we capitalize? And the idea came that we should have some sort of entity. We established a entity called Water Technology Unit, and the idea was put forward by our director, Dr. Nasser Al-Naimi. He is behind, and he is promoting, and he is very active, and also has been supported by our management. It has been approved by our president. So I would like to share some slides. I hope, yeah. So, yes, can you see my slides? Is it visible? Okay.
Yes, Doctor.
Yeah. So, so I'm going to talk about something our activities, what we have been in our unit since it's established, and so we have organized some training courses because the reason is that now Qatar, as all of you know, established 2 large desalination plants based on RO. One of the plants based in Al Hul, according to them, it is the largest in the Middle East, in the Gulf region. And the second one was established in Ras Abu Fantas, and now some more project coming up. So there is a shift from thermal to desalination to membrane-based desalination. So it means that we need to prepare ourselves for technical support, because now we are shifting to membrane technology and capacity building. And with this in mind, we established a unit to support the industry and have a strong collaboration. So we have been working very closely with industry, and this is one of our activities we have been involved with for the water analysis and diagnostic of the reverse osmosis desalination plant. And we have analyzed different sections of waters coming from different units, pre-treatment and post-treatment, and within reverse osmosis units. And also there were some issues related to the turbidity they face in because of the some of the dynamics of the weather, the changes. So we help them. So this is one of the activity we help them. We have been doing, and at the same time, also we have been working on some project with the help of our colleagues. Dr. Mariam Alaji, she is part of it. Dr. Mohammed Hassan. That we are analyzing the leaching of some of the microplastic coming from our tea bags. So the tea bags which we use, they are sealed and they have some plastics and PVC or polypropylene. And when I put in water, millions of microplastics are coming, and we want to analyze it and make sure in our region and the tea bags we use, how the situation. Also, we have been contacted by the industry, which is Al Baladia, Al Rayyan. They have some concerns about the water, about water quality and some of the toxics, especially when we use the dispenser bottles, the big sizes. So the number of uses they want to control, and they don't know how people are using and what is the limit. So this is one we have visited the plant. They have invited us. So this is one very strong interaction with the industry, and we are collaborating. We have negotiating. We have submitted some project to them, and we hope it will be coming soon. And the other thing is, before I go this one, we are also doing some simulation work. We have done full-scale seawater RO desalination plant monitoring and simulation. So here we can monitor the health of the plant, means there's issues, so we can diagnose the water quality, as well as we can simulate the whole plant based on the feed water quality and different pre-treatment steps, pre-treatment processes. So this work we did is a very good piece of work. This whole simulating the whole seawater desalination plant. Also, we are also working with industry, and we have a project that we are proposing forward osmosis as a pre-treatment for reverse osmosis. The idea is that because we have a reverse osmosis, as you know, is higher recovery than thermal, so it means the brine, you have more TDS, more you'll get more concentrated brine. So usually they do, after some treatment, they put in water. But what we propose is that we can use the brine and use the forward osmosis pre-treatment, so we can dilute it and put in the again back in FO, and then this can be used as again feed to RO, and in this way we can have a sustainable water treatment system. This is one of the things. And the other thing is a breakthrough work. We have done some very innovative work. We have all developed.
So Zaidi, in 1 minute, if you could just wrap up the answer, so we can just, I have to move to.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm sorry, but we have limited time. So
fine. This is
so
my
sorry.
Finishing. So we have also done one project for developing some membranes, TFC, thin film composite membrane for RO desalination by using interfacial polymerization. So we have used some very cheaply available nanomaterial, which are nanoclays, montmorillonite or glycite, and we found that they have very high potential. They found to have high water flux, as well as having more than 80 to 90% salt rejection. So these membranes are very promising. So this is some of the snapshot of the work which we have been doing, and I'll stop over here. I will give the other colleagues to give chance. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Zaidi. Thank you so much. Let us move to one of the industrial leaders here in Qatar, Dr. Samir. Dr. Samir, you have the link actually between the academia and the industry. Actually, You are an industrial man, and you are adjunct professor at the Qatar University at Center for Advanced Materials. I want you to shed the light, on the water management. How important is the water management for the oil and gas industry? And from ConocoPhillips, especially a perspective, and what was your team role in development of innovative ultrafiltration membranes for oil water separation at CAB? I know it's long answer, but we just need short answer and short introduction about ConocoPhillips and its interest in the water management, especially in the oil and gas industry. Thank you so much. Please go ahead. Yeah, you are muted. You are muted, doctor.
Yes, I'm ready now. Thank you very much. It was a test of the system, actually. Thank you, Dr. Abu Bakr. I really appreciate. I'd like to thank the organizers for this opportunity, and I'm really pleased to be with this distinguished guest and panelist here at this seminar. So I think I could give a quick introduction about ConocoPhillips, couple of 1 minute actually. Just ConocoPhillips is one of the largest independent oil and gas company. It's focusing on exploration and production. We are headquartered in Houston, Texas, with operations in 15 countries around the world. Here in Qatar, we are proud partners in Qatar Gas in the production of train number 6 of liquefied natural gas with a capacity of 7.8 million ton per annum. And at Qatar Science and Technology Park, we established the Global Water Sustainability Center, which I'm leading actually, with primary focus is to develop innovative solutions for the byproduct water from the oil and gas operations. So somebody would say, you are an oil and gas company, why you are doing water actually research? And that's, I'll share a couple of slides just to explain the background on this. So let me put it on a presentation mode. I hope you are seeing it now. So as an oil and gas company, the oil and gas company, they produce a lot more water on a day-to-day basis as compared to oil and gas. For an average from a conventional oil fields, 3 to 4 barrels of water comes up with every barrel of oil. In the gas fields also, you produce a lot of water, as well as in the processing of the gas, the byproduct will become water. So the reuse of this produced water historically have been re-injected to enhance oil recovery, to maintain the pressure of the reservoir. We use it for drilling and completion. And the gas fields, most of it in the past used to be disposed of. However, there is a lot of pressure to come up with innovative options here. The challenge here is with produced water. When we talk, it's not like seawater. When we talk seawater desalination, the solution is known. It's either membranes or evaporators, and that's it. But the water characteristics is widely variable with the produced water. The oil fields usually have a wide salinity range. It could become very saline, as well as have organics, the total organic carbon. This is a snapshot of some of the characteristics of the produced water. The gas field in general, they are a lot lower in salinity. They're lower on organics, which present a lot more opportunity for potentially treating that water and recycling it and reusing it. So, and that's why, I mean, Qatar actually is revolutionizing and adding a lot of treatment into the treatment of the byproduct water from the gas fields and recycling it for potential industrial uses. So what the oil and gas has been doing historically, we have been focusing on removing suspended solids and dispersed oil and grease with really traditional technologies, hydrocyclone, coalescers, separators, just simple technologies. But as you know, the regulations and the water scarcity worldwide is really putting a lot of pressure with sustainable development to come up with more innovative solutions and to be able to utilize that water, treat it, and recycling it. So for treatment of advanced treatment of produced water, there is a list of contaminants that you could see here: emulsified oil, salinity, organics, and we need to develop a toolbox of technologies of advanced water treatment to really address this challenge. And membranes is usually a key component of that technology toolbox with wide application of those technologies. And that's really the focus of our water center, to come up with those new innovations. So you talked about our role here with the academia and the industry. So our role here as the most important part is to make sure that the academia is doing the research under relevant field conditions. So we developed the first thing with the project with the Center for Advanced Material here is, and Dr. University of Houston. We want to develop a protocol that we could evaluate membranes competitively. So we really developed, evaluated, and captured what is the performance on the commercial membranes, different chemistry, different pore size. And then we developed a protocol that is really very robust to apply it on the evaluation, which really evaluate the membranes, fouling, and cleaning capabilities. And whatever we developed in the protocol, we end up applying it to the project that we have and projects that we have elsewhere globally. So, and one of the key components of that protocol is to ensure that we have a water that is representative, that has a representative water. And, you know, it's the synthetic water that we use. We want to make sure that it really have the representative hydrocarbons. And we came up with another protocol to make sure that the synthetic water that we are using for evaluating the membranes are relevant to the field and accurate. And that's important for academia. If you're really objective, just to do research, just to publish, that's one way. But if you really want to have a research to come up with a product that will have ultimately commercial application and implementation, then the key component that whatever research you do is relevant to field conditions. So that's why we are raising the bar, but we accept the challenge with our team here with Qatar University and University of Houston, and we have been doing really great job. I will not share some of the results. I have some of the results, but I would like to get my other speakers to present the innovations on the membranes, and then I'll leave later a couple of results of what we got with this innovative protocols that we have developed. But we challenged the innovators of the nanostructured membrane. We told them we want a membrane that could meet those conditions. So let's hear from the other speakers about what are the membranes that being innovative, and I could share later on a couple of results on how they perform compared to commercial product. So that pretty much summarizes what I want to say.
Thank you, Sami. This is very nice timing, and yeah, 7 minutes exactly. Thank you so much. So I will move to Dr. Muhammad Hassan. Dr. Muhammad, you know, as mentioned, Dr. Samir, you know, he is, you know, the industry role is to ensure that the research that is being done in the lab, you know, is, you know, having the same or relevant conditions to that they face in the field, actually, in the real field. So how is the project is structured actually to promote the academic industrial this partnership? You know, how the structure actually of the project fit the academia and the industry to promote such academic industrial partnership?
Thank you, Dr. Abu Bakr. We are glad to have you with us and moderating this session. Before I forget, actually, I'd like to thank Ms. Amani Osman and for putting this together and for her effort. She did like quite hard work to put this all together, and we met multiple times, but it was a very interesting experience actually for myself to work with her to put this together. Also, Mr. Karim for handling you know, the whole thing and the whole media thing to make this happen. Also, I would like to thank our Center for Advanced Materials, Dr. Nasser Naimi, for his encouragement and his continuous support to our research in the arena of water research. And this is the project is part of the efforts under the Water Technology Unit, which is was generously was established with a generous support from QEWC. We would like to thank them for that. And also Professor Mariam Al-Maadida, I would like to thank her for being part of the project, as well as also for encouragement and continuous support to the water research activities in CAM and in Qatar University overall. So from day one, actually, the way we structured this project was based on getting something, making an impact to the industry. And this is why we thought to approach Dr. Samir, and I really, really appreciate his efforts and his support, and we thank him for this. And we approached him about what are the issues out there for the produced water treatment and the processed water treatment. And we accepted his challenge. He talked about the challenging our membranes, and we accepted that challenge. And we will continue to work with him until we get a product out there that fulfill the industry, or like compete the commercial ones that are out there. So the structure, as if you can see from the slide, the structure is we put three major components together. Of course, we have a generous support from Qatar National Research Fund. Would like to thank them for this, as well as thanking Qatar Shell for in-kind support, and Ball Corporation as well. So there is two teams, there is two projects actually. One project is with Conoco, and the other one is going with some help from Shell and Ball Corporation in the US. So we have like very much like, of course, this is the team. This is the team for the two projects. We have Professor Mariam, Professor Karim, myself, and Dr. Shawdan, Dr. Nazarin, Professor Nazarenko from USM, University of Southern Mississippi. Those are other partners, and Dr. Ahmed Zetahri from Qatar University as well. So our expertise comes into the arena of developing block polymers, polymeric materials, and also modification for those polymeric materials, because as Dr. Samir mentioned, there is so many challenges with the water, and not all the produced water are the same actually. There is so many differences, and we target for a certain type of produced water, you might need to consider like a certain type of membranes that will fit this kind of water, and so on and so forth. Also the validation team, I call them the validation team or the membrane testing team, Dr. Samir, Dr. Mustafa from the GBC, and Dr. Majida from chemical engineering department. They are specialized in this, and they have done quite a bit, lots of research in this line, and they are helping us quite a bit in terms of testing and making sure that what we make in terms of the material and in terms of the copolymer materials that might be able to fulfill the industrial requirements. Finally, after the validation at the lab scale, we are also having Dr. Eric Hendrich from Ball Corporation. He's one of our friends actually. He is a graduate of Southern Mississippi, and he is now a lead scientist at Ball Corporation. And we agreed under certain conditions that the formula that works after we patent it, the formula itself, we will file a patent for the formula itself, and that formula we can share it under certain conditions, of course, because this is industry. Ball Corporation is one of the biggest membrane fabrication companies in US, and they are mainly their main focus on making membranes for biomedical applications, basically. So we approached them.
We have 1 minute left.
Yeah, so this is the last thing, Dr. Abu Bakr. So we approached them, and they agreed to make a membrane on the large scale using like an actual membrane on the large scale in their large scale fabrication machines using our formulations. Final thing is we design membranes that is with pore size in the range of 10 to 100 nanometers for different applications actually, not only just produced water and processed water, we work with biomedical and algae filtration in the same line as well too. Okay, Dr. Abubakar, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Muhammad. Thank you so much. I will move now to Professor Karim Alamgir. Professor Karim, this project actually, is regarding the oil water separation. So I want to ask you, what are the unique characteristics that block copolymers can bring to the membrane filtration technology for different applications?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Abubakar, and I'm really happy to be part of this discussion. Our work with Qatar University and the CAM Center, and also with ConocoPhillips with Dr. Samer, has been really informative for us, with the idea. So let me discuss the key idea of the block copolymer. So block copolymers, as you know, polymers is every day. It's ubiquitous. It's from grocery bag to nylon strings. But block copolymers are unique in the sense that if you look at the cartoon here, the red and the blue can be two different polymer chemistry blocks, like say polystyrene, polyethylene, or something like that. But they're covalently bonded. So the feature of block copolymers that makes it different from just A or B alone is that they can self-assemble, and you can get very unique architectures and structures at the nanoscale from that 10, and it's in the ideal range for membrane because it's in that 10 to 100 nanometer scale. So you can create any of those structures that you see on the top that look like lamellae, cylinders, gyroids, spheres, and so on. And so these have been, we are working on many of the things that are indicated here. For instance, for electronic applications, we have a project on energy storage, the solid state capacitor. We have metamaterials. They are very broadly applicable to a wide range of nanotechnologies. Of interest to this project is the water filtration separation membrane, and down the road in gas barrier membrane, because of the fact that once you get these structures into the right orientation, then you can potentially make membranes by etching out one of the blocks. So let's say you get one of those structures, like that cylinder structure on the bottom, and you can etch out. So let me go to the next slide to explain this a little bit more clearly. So this is what it was a conceptual idea, and then with Qatar University and with ConocoPhillips, we were able to, in fact, not only create the structures, but we were able to test it out in lab conditions. Okay, one back. So what's the main advantage is that these pores, you can see that the bright yellow and the dark brown are the two blocks. And the challenge is in controlling the orientation of these cylinders and then etch them. So, but if you could do it, you would have very good chemical selectivity. So for example, in oil water separation, you need, say, water to go through, but the oil should remain behind. So how do you chemically modify the pore for chemical selectivity? Also, you want high flux. You don't want to filter small amounts. You want a very large flux. And here's the key advantage of block copolymer. You can get as much as 10 to the 10 of these pores per square meter, which for membrane technology, that's really, really high. It's like 2 orders of magnitude high. So let me go to the next slide to show you how we actually order it. So we have various, my lab here in Houston is a directed self-assembly lab, mainly for block copolymers. And we have developed various methods for controlling the structure and the orientation. For example, the cylinders can be parallel, but that's not useful for this project. We want the cylinders to be perpendicular to the flux of the flow of the oil water. So we use this method called zone annealing that you see on the upper right-hand side. And it is basically from metallurgy. Zone refinement has been used to create 99% pure silicon for electronic industry, or pure copper, pure metal. We apply this zone annealing method or zone refinement to create highly oriented and highly ordered block copolymer without defects. Okay, so defects is one of the key things we want to avoid. Let me go to the next slide. So the process itself is very straightforward. We are making films that are really, really thin. These are in the range of 10 to 20 nanometers or 10 to 50. And, if you think about the thickness, think about your hair. Okay, it's about 1 millionth the thickness of the human hair. Okay, is what we are talking about here. So these are extremely thin film. They are very fragile. So that is one of the things when you put it into real technology, you have to test how to, how do you make them more durable. But we prepare it by casting a polymer solution of the block of polymer with that flow coater that we have. And by the way, we have now actually, with a collaborative effort, we'll talk later with a student collaboration, established a much larger industrial scale version at Qatar University, at CAM. So then we take this film and we can float off the polymer, block of polymer layer after we order it. And then we have a way to etch out selectively one of the polymers like PMMA. So these are the pores, okay? So it creates this very high pore density of 10 to the 10. As you know, ultraviolet can be degrading, but it is degrading selectively to one polymer. And so think of the blue as the PMMA, polymethyl methacrylate, and the UV etches it out. So we have created a special chamber. You have to create special air conditions for this etching process. And so that's basically the method. And then we remove the membrane and we are able to sandwich it between two traditional macroporous polymer sheets and create the ultimate structure. And then we test it out with the kind of setup that, ConocoPhillips has. These are these membrane filtration units. So let me go to the next slide. Okay, so here is some pictures. These are, as you know, for nanotechnology, atomic force microscopy or AFM is one of the most useful tools. So this is simply mapping the structure of these oriented block of polymer with that zone annealing method. And you can see that under vacuum with UV and some acetic acid wash, we are able to create the pores in the film. And that's the challenge, that the processing method, the zone annealing, there, as you can see, it's not still perfect, so we are driving our cells to get to more perfect, get to the real 10 to the 10, ultimate limit of these pores. What's really nice about the block of polymer, I should mention, is that if there's an application that needs, say 2 nanometer pore, another one needs 100 nanometer pore, simply with the chemistry of the block of polymer, we can change the length, the molecular weight, and the pore size is automatically decided by the molecular weight of the block of polymer. We just talk to the polymer chemist and say, hey, could you make me this certain molecular weight? And we know what pore size we get. Okay, so this is what we made in the round one. And let me go to the next slide. So these are now etched pores. These are, and we put them into this. So thank you, Samer, for, introducing us to this ultrafiltration cell that is also commercially, as a sort of a laboratory and commercial test, assembly. So you can see that the membrane is put on the bottom of this the ultrafiltration cell, and then you fill it up with the the liquid. There's a way to pressurize it and to push your mixture through. On the bottom left-hand corner, you can see that the cloudy bottle is an oil water mixture. It is just simple oil. You can take your cooking oil, mix it with water, and shake it. As you know, you get emulsion. It's like, milk is an emulsion, so it's cloudy, because it scatters light. So you can see the fact that it's cloudy means that it's water and oil dispersed, or the other way around, oil and water, depending on the composition. At any rate, this is, I think, 50-50. Once we pass that cloudy mixture through the membrane, the block of polymer membrane, you can see it comes out clear on the in the other bottle, right? So that's the water that basically separated itself out through that.
We have 1 minute, Dr. Karim.
Filtration. And then we add dye molecule to make sure that it is truly the water coming out. And then we test the flux and all. So everything looks really good. I'll go to the last slide, maybe, I think.
It is.
And these are just, we test other things. Can we filter contamination like polymers? For example, there's a lot of things in water that can contaminate. So it can be used not only for oil water, it has broader impact. There's a big need to separate from polymer streams in water to butanol, many other things. So I go to the next slide, the last slide, if there is one. I just want to show that we characterize these polymers, the nanostructure at very large X-ray sources. These are 1 mile diameter, think about it. And these are extremely intense X-ray, and they can characterize the 10 nanometer scale, or how good the quality is, the orientation, the structure. And that's my team at Argonne National Lab in Chicago, Illinois, where we do the characterization work jointly with, these are membranes that we are working with with CAM. So is there any other slide? If not, I will just say that the real challenge has been, then we test it at ConocoPhillips and in Samer's lab. And then, of course, instead of just pure water, he's adding surfactant, he's adding, a little bit harsh chemicals that are used in the petrochemical industry. And so that's the step going forward where we will have the impact to the real commercialization of these membranes. And so we are looking forward to the next couple of years working on that technology for durability and actual applications. And that's quite a big challenge for anyone who wants to do startup companies, from concept to actual applications. Those are the real challenges. So back to you, Dr. Bakar.
Thank you, Dr. Karim. I just have a quick question before we move to Dr. Mariam. Is this membrane conducting or not conducting, doctor? It's electrically conductive?
Very good question, because you can make, as I said, the choice of polymers is up to us. We are at the moment not conductive, but you can actually make them conductive with conductive polymers. And we are very interested to do that for, from RO to many other applications where you have electric field driven potentially, process.
Actually, I had a project with QNRF, funded by QNRF for electrocoalescence. So I would have the different shapes of electrodes, and I was able to separate the water from the oil from water, actually, or the water from oil, let me say. It is not oil from water, it is water from oil, because the water percentage is almost 2%, using electrical signal. And if I'm thinking that if we can couple the membrane with an electrical signal, I think it might be interesting to see the.
Absolutely. At the very least, you can make members that are smart in the sense that they are sensors also.
Okay.
So the electrical conductivity can give sensor properties, dielectric properties. And let's say the membrane is getting clogged. It says, hey, time to change the filter based upon actual usage, not based upon some 6 months, you should change the membrane, whether it's clogged or not,
Commercial recommendations.
Yeah, exactly. So, like in cars these days, they have real-time sensors, for.
Thank you.
Yeah. So this
Thank
kind
you,
of thing
Dr.
is
Karim.
very
Thank you
useful.
so much.
Thank
It's
you so much.
it's very fruitful discussion. I will move now to Dr. Mariam. Dr. Mariam Al-Ajji is the youngest member who joined CAM recently. We are all proud of her, actually. She have done her PhD recently at Imperial College London. Dr. Mariam, you are talking about different case study, not oil water separation, actually.
Yes.
What you are doing is you are using a new technology, actually, for sewage water. Actually, it's called a water sewage treatment membrane for water sewage treatment using multi-layer print head enabled by 3D printing. This is a new technique, actually, to build a membrane and use it for water sewage treatment. Could you please talk to us about this new project or new case study, actually, you are working on? Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you for inviting me for this webinar. And I would like to thank everyone in the Center for Advanced Materials, starting from the director until for everyone, to all the employees there. If you allow me to give just an introduction about this project. So Qatar has invested extensively in a state-of-the-art wastewater treatment plants. So currently we have, after this intensive treatment of wastewater, it's targeted to remove the suspended solid organic matter nitrogen and phosphorus compound, because most of this treated wastewater either being discharged to the sea or stored in open lagoons. So I'm targeting here. I'm targeting here the treated sewage influent wastewater. There is a restriction of using this kind of wastewater for irrigation due to the trace concentration of macropollutants, which has been reported to cause health problems if it's reach consumers. This micropollutants in wastewater cannot be removed by any conventional wastewater treatment process. And often this is required an advantage treatment such as RO or reverse osmosis treatment. So economically, TSE treatment and for using is cheaper than desalinated water. And it's also important for countries that suffer water scarcity, like such as Qatar. So the more than 60% of fresh water consumption in Qatar goes to the agriculture. So we are in this project, we will try to filtrate this kind of wastewater to get the requirement of FAO, the Food and Agriculture Organization requirement regarding the using and recycling TSE. So we found that membrane-based technology have this advantages over overcoming with the conventional treatment process. So the project exactly focus on developing a new multi-layered porous membrane to be used for TSE, as you can see from this diagram. This new multi-layered membrane will combine microfiltration, ultrafiltration, and nanofiltration in one membrane. This new multi-layer membrane will be used as a pre-treatment process for RO to treat this kind of TSE. This design, as you can see from this diagram, this multi-layer membrane, it can be in macro size. With our collaborator from Arizona State University, we got more than 64 layers, but we are now focusing in the 3. So we are planning to get that 3 different sizes of layers, as you can see in this SEM image. This new design of membrane expected to reduce the capital and operation cost of membrane processes. So we propose this design of membrane to reduce the pumping energy, capital cost, and footprint of membrane processes, including RO. This work we already started with the Arizona State University with Dr. Kenan. During next week, we will get some samples of this membrane, but also we are building our technology transfer in Qatar University to get the same technology, the same mechanism of preparing this kind of membrane. If you can see in this, if you can see from this slide, this is the 3D platform. Before I go to this explanation, I need to explain the other collaborators with us, in this project we have many supported from Qatar Public Work Authority, Ashghal, who will provide us with this kind of TSE, also with the technical advice. Also, we have those the collaboration with the Mecanano as industrial collaborator. They have also collaboration with the Arizona State University. Those collaborators, we will have with them a cost share and contribute to have the scalability and the cost or optimization for manufacturing of the large scale membrane, because we are planning to have this kind of membrane to be suitable for our specification in Qatar. So if you can see from this picture of the 3D printing platform, this printing platform, and it has a layer multiplication mechanism and DMI-W, which is the multi-phase direct ink writing. This print head, if you can see this print head, which is where is feedstock of A and B, which is and we are planning to change it, not just exactly the same in this image. We are thinking to put some polymer gel also, or nanoparticle suspension mixed with the other different polymers. So those two feed stock, A and B, can be introduced in the head. They will pass it through the spinners and then pass it through the minimizer. Then they got a layer multiplier, different two layer multiplier and horizontally. Then they got reach to the reducer. Once they reach the reducer, they will be when they go to the minimizer, it used to be between the spinner and layer multiplier. So the unit to reduce the flow area and then increase the share of this layer formation without any flow disturbance. So then A and B are reaching the multipliers. Then start to stacked and stitched vertically to form the alternating layers of both feed stock. So and here we are planning to have a full control of membrane characteristic.
Dr. Mayam, we have 1 minute left.
Yeah, at nanoscale. So we want to control bore size and distribution, the bore size distribution, vertical orientation of pores, falling control, and mechanical durability. Also, in the beginning, we will have the 0.3 meter square sheet before we got the large size sheet dimension in meters, who will be with help of Mecanano from US as industrial collaboration. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you, Dr. Mariam. I will go back from here to Professor Zaidi again. Dr. Zaidi, we have listened to you regarding the membranes you are using for reverse osmosis and forward osmosis. But could you please tell us what other water treatment research activities that are currently going in CAM in general? Thank you.
Okay. Can you see my slides? Okay. So I would like to mention here that in addition to what I mentioned before, that we have been doing some fundamental work, some of the membrane fabrication and some other work. We are also focusing on what we call the product based. So this is not as a by training, I'm an engineer, chemical engineer. So we also look forward. There's a taking to the next step of the product design. So I would like to share some of the prototypes we developed here at CAM in the water technology unit. And the idea is that we used to buy our testing cells, like reverse osmosis systems or forward osmosis, membrane fabrication. So we ourselves, we try to design the system in our center, and we fabricated a whole everything from the scratch, started designing, dimensioning in our workshop in the camp. So here are some of the some of them, as you can see here, we tried to make some, we designed fabricated water filtration system. So we designed it uses of software available, SolidWorks, all these things in dimension, have proper dimension. And then we came up, this is our unit, okay? This is, you can see here, this is an integrated water filtration system where we have reverse osmosis testing system, we have a forward osmosis system, and we have membrane caster, all put together into one cell. And this has been fabricated. You can see here all the materials bought in here and fabricated in Qatar. So this is one of our, I can say, know-how that our team, especially my student, I should acknowledge my student, Ahmad Siddiqui, who has been very instrumental and work hard. So this is one prototype product we develop ourselves, and we have capability to make, okay, in more in scaling up. And recently we have visit by our higher management, led by our president, the university, His Excellency Dr. Hassan Dirham, and we can see here the vice president for the Dr. Mariam and Dr. Ansari and Dr. Nasir. They visited and they appreciated the idea very much. Also, we also tried to print the cell. We use the cell for testing in both reverse osmosis as well as forward osmosis. So we use the 3D printing and we designed a cell, our own cell, and we use the local material. So we came up, so this is our product, okay? We came up with a cell, and we exactly our idea completely. So we were successful in making the 3D printing of the permeation cell for reverse osmosis as well as for forward osmosis. Also, we came up with some new design like dual membrane cells. Now we have on a single, this is our own. We have been working further to improve, and this is also all these things, our innovation is subject to patents. Okay, so we have the capacity to design and fabricate a water filtration system. We can customize the membrane-based research requirement, and we use this. We can use the cells. We have the capacity. Also, another thing which we develop.
We have 1 minute, Dr. Zaidi, because this round of questions is only three minutes each.
We also, Qatar environment is very humid. Nowadays, we have very high humidity, you can see here. And we have a lot of humidity, so we can tap this moisture and this water in the air. So we design we call atmospheric water generator, and we tested it using thermoelectrical device, thermochemical conversion, electrochemical conversion, and we came up with design. And this is our air-cooled atmospheric water generator. This is also made by 3D printing. So we have print this whole setup by 3D printing. So we can collect water at the base, and we have a fan for air cooling. So it is designed and made at the Center for Advanced Material in the Water Technology Unit. These are some of the product and prototype we were able to made in Center for Advanced Material in Water Technology Unit in Qatar University, and we have the capacity to build and to make it a larger scale. So these are some of our colleagues interested. We can collaborate and make cell for them. So back thank you very much again.
Thank you. That is fantastic. Actually, if we could also make this air cooler, this that collect the water humidity. If we can make it also working with solar power, that will be great. We have a lot of solar energy here.
No, we actually this is the main idea that we will be connecting with the solar panels.
Yes.
Now we are using solar. This battery, it consumes very small, very low voltage. Okay, the water is not high, so it can easily be connected to a solar panel. Okay, this is the idea. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Zaidi. I will move to Dr. Samir. Dr. Samir, what is your opinion regarding the academic industry collaboration for the development of new technologies, especially here I would focus in Qatar or in general, if you like.
Okay, well, thank you very much. I think the value of the industrial collaboration is when I show you the results. I mean, I have 2 slides of the results. We did talk about We did talk about the protocol, which, by the way, it's all of it published. It's all published in journals. And then we have the protocol of the evaluation of the membranes, and then evaluation of the using the real produced water. So the results will show you the value of the industry academic collaboration. Like Dr. Mohammed, we raised the challenge. This is a test, actually, we're getting into the technical. Okay, 2 slides here. This is showing how we evaluated the membrane using actual produced water and 2 synthetic water. 1 synthetic water with our procedure that used the right hydrocarbon, and the other one we used motor oil, or people used vegetable oil or a lot of other way of oils. Where we are seeing here, you see the productivity on the y-axis, liter per meter square per hour per bar for the membrane. The red is how much is the clean membrane is doing, and then when you subject it to the blue is after actual produced water, and then you allow it to run for a while, and then you flush it, and then you clean it with the cleaning chemicals. The yellow is after cleaning. So you could see the high membrane, then it fouls, then you have a fouling. We really use a real produced water that has a fouling propensity. You see that synthetic water with the crude oil with the right hydrocarbons, you will see a very similar performance to the actual produced water. While when you are using motor oil or when you're using vegetable oils and that stuff, you will have a misleading results. It does not show it's a high fouling propensity. You could see the clean membrane at red. It just fouls a little bit, and then you easily clean it in a way. So, if you want to, both of them are publishable, but if you want to really have a data that really mimic the real performance of the full-scale actual performance, you need to have data that have relevant field conditions, and that's why the industry collaboration. The other data here point, which is another slide, really we talked, Dr. Karim have talked about the block copolymers. We could control the pores, this is like advanced chemistry. And this is a data of where we compare the product of commercial, we used a relevant condition. So we have a commercial polyether sulfone, which is the same 500 kilodalton pore size, the same pore size, and compared to different formulations. Well, as Dr. Karim mentioned, we're working together still, different formulation of the block copolymer, but this is one example of a really successful product. The red is the clean water membranes. And again, the key of this cycle of our protocol is to have multiple cycles. You could not depend on one thing. You have to repeat it. So what we do is that we foul, the synthetic produced water is the fouling, then we flush it with water, and then we clean it. The yellow is the cleaning membranes. So the commercial membranes have a lower flux compared to the novel ultrafiltration membranes. The ultrafiltration membrane block copolymer was about 30% on this one. We were able to even get higher productivity. The fouling propensity, you could see how it fouls and how it cleans. The novel block copolymer membrane have a lot lower fouling tendency compared to the commercial ultrafiltration with similar kind of characteristics. Where we really are not high up in the TOC rejection, one of them is 80%, the organic rejection, the other, and the TOC rejection is higher, actually 87% to 79%. So we are really trying right now to optimize on this. We know this is a step forward. We are really trying to optimize further on this. So that's really where we are trying to have the membrane tested under relevant conditions. So I would say that here is the industry capacity building and industry collaboration. We really are trying to have the students to understand the value of their work and to test their products under relevant conditions. The international collaboration makes it a lot more productive to have that. So that's really at a high level, actually, we need to make sure that with the industry collaboration, we are focusing about implementation and commercialization. We are raising the bar. It's not only about just do the work and publish it. We are really trying to have something that at the end user will end up benefiting for. And that team already have the scientists, the team, the end user. We are connected to the end users, and we have the manufacturer, Paul, and okay. So this is the type of, like I would say, the perfect project in a way, where you could just come up with a concept idea to an implementation. So I'll stop here.
Thank you, Dr. Samer. I will move to Dr. Mohammed Hassan. Dr. Mohammed Hassan, what techniques used for membrane fabrication? Professor Karim maybe spoke about some, but I'm asking you what techniques can be used for membrane fabrication, and especially for scale-up, and what are your future plans in this regard?
Thank you, Dr. Abu Bakr. Yes, actually, as Dr. Karim mentioned, we use the zone annealing and solvent annealing, as well as the thermal annealing. Also, we tried some other technique with Southern Mississippi, which is called non-volatile additive solvent annealing. And the idea in this one, you have like a differential evaporation of the two solvents. Like, you know, the solvents, different solvents have different vapor pressures. So we included the solvent with very low vapor pressure, sorry, and that solvent would swell one of the blocks greatly, but it leaves much later than the first solvent, the typical solvent. And with this process, we're able to get like also very nice porous with very high ordered in terms of pore density and so on. But the main focus, as Professor Karim mentioned, and also to fulfill the needs of Dr. Samer and his team, because they are really challenging us actually with so many different kind of waters. And also, as I mentioned in the first part, that there is so many types of water. I was talking to a friend from Shell. He said that we produce like 10 types of water. And of course, Dr. Samer knows this more than I do. So there is so many different types. And each one of these could need like different kinds of bores. Like this is much bigger bores than this one, actually speaking. And these are for like some of the examples that we made at University of Houston, University of Southern Mississippi, as well as here in CAM as well too. We were also like able to modify these membranes to fulfill also the needs for Dr. Samer, like for example the tendency to foul quickly in comparison with commercial membranes, for example. We also address these issues. But also one important parameter that we always take into account is the scalability. We always think about the scalability. From day one of designing these projects, and of course, with the help of Dr. Samer, from the very first moment that we started writing those proposals, we always think about the scalability. So it will be validated by the industry, Dr. Samer, as well as other friends from Shell, and also it has to be scaled up. So very much like these two, like we are moving very like these two types, moving quite forward in terms of scalability. So the idea here actually is simply like this is how we make them in the lab scale. The left in the left top corner. So we make bases 10 by 10 centimeter bases for the lab scale validation. But the next step for us is to get this machine, which will make like a 12 centimeter wide by any unlimited length, any length that you are looking for. And this is, we call it semi-industrial scale, because actually that machine, it was recommended to us by Ball Corporation, because in Ball, they have the biggest one. And the industrial scale large one, which makes like 100 up to 100 centimeter wide membrane with any length that you are looking for. And of course, we put this under, after making the membranes with the semi-industrial, we'll put it to the test again, and the challenges with the waters with Dr. Samer and his team again. And then we can move on to the industrial level with as I mentioned earlier also, with the help from Ball Corporation to make like 100 centimeters, actual like industrial scale level membrane.
Thank you, Dr. Mohammed.
This is the plan actually. So so this is our plan. So starting from the lab scale, semi-industrial, these two will be done during this phase of the project, but our eyes are actually to make money here. So we are trying with the help of Dr. Samer, of course, and
Thank
Paul,
you.
and with the support from the university, is to make something that is tangible in terms of that will fulfill the needs of the industry in Qatar. Thank you, Dr. Abdul.
Thank you, Dr. Mohammed. Thank you. One more technical question for Dr. Karim. What are the unique characteristics that block copolymers can bring to the membrane filtration technology for different applications?
So, Dr. Karim, I think you mentioned that, Dr. Karim, earlier.
Maybe you are muted.
Oh, yes. Okay, good. All right. So,
which
yeah, if you can go to this one. Yes, this is good. You can see that the block copolymers are really versatile nanostructures you can create. So from cylinders, but there's a very interesting phase like gyroid phase. It is a bicontinuous phase. That means both phases are co-continuous. You mentioned, for example, you know, the electrical conductivity. So one can be as a percolating electrical network. The other one can be for the filtration. So really, you know, we have to think about multifunctionality. So how can we make multifunctional, you know, block copolymer membrane is the sort of the challenge for us, is the where I'm looking to the future, where you can have, you know, like maybe sunlight comes in and it also, you know, splits the water at the same time, you know, into hydrogen, oxygen, and at the same time it does the filtration. So can we have a stacking of multi-layers with multifunction? There's also very importantly, as Dr. Samer will tell you, from a processing standpoint, you want the minimum number of processing steps. So I think Dr. Hassan mentioned that the solvent evaporation, the solvent method compared to the zone annealing method, which is energy intensive. So ideally, you want the minimum number of steps and the lowest energy to produce your final state materials. So we are now working on this solution-based processing, but then it's organic solvent. So we have to keep it, make sure that it is not going into the environment, how to keep it in a closed environment, chamber, like roll-to-roll assembly. So this is also now moving towards, reduced cost, large area fabrication, rapid prototyping. So, Dr. Mariam showed this very interesting, splitter and all that. Those are, very rapid processing technologies. So how do you make things more efficient? How do you utilize different architectures of block copolymers? And one example would be, where you take the block copolymer, like you can see it forms these pores, right? But you can add like a homopolymer to one block, which is a single polymer of one type, and change the pore dimension, so that is another way. Instead of making a new block copolymer, you can add a single polymer and increase the pore. How can we take these ultrafiltration membrane and get to RO, reverse osmosis? So this is something, the permeability. See, polymers you can have controlled permeability to different gases. PDMS is highly permeable to moisture and oxygen. So permeability for other applications at the same time, this I really like this hierarchical scale filtration that Dr. Mariam talked about, from macro to micro to nano. That same opportunity exists with block copolymers by mixing different block copolymers of different molecular weights, processing condition, and you can get this hierarchical structure. Nature really utilizes hierarchical structure in a big way. You look at any, insect or whatever, from macro to nano, it's just a scaled down process where it is really, different multifunctions. So, I hope that is the future, and as I said, these are extremely versatile materials. This is what you're seeing here is just die block. That means two polymers. But imagine people are making tri-block pentablock up to 5 block polymers connected together, cost is the big factor there. So that's why diablock is very cheap. But Kraton, for example, you have a Nike shoes. So Kraton, the sole of every shoe is basically block copolymer technology. So it is already cheap, styrene isobutyl, polybutadiene, SBS is a very cheap elastomeric block copolymer. So there are ways to make it cheap. And so we should also think about how to use the already existing block copolymer in technologies like sole of shoes, etc., elastomers, to see what kind of applications we can bring to the water oil filtration area. And I said, much beyond that, smart membranes, multifunctional membranes, one set of membranes with a little bit of process, like Paul would love to have, where you change the process a little bit and you have a totally different application, So this is the kind of thing we need to think with our head, and academics usually just think about the scientific problem, but not necessarily where and what it can do. And I think that's where it's good. I should say, leading into, I think maybe the next part, maybe students actually, if you challenge them, will come up with great ideas on their own with respect to, hey, I can do this and I can get that, particularly they're very motivated for applications. So, okay.
Yeah, I want to take the lead from this point, Dr. Karim. Before I move to Dr. Mariam, I want to ask you a question: how to attract young researchers, good young researchers, to this field?
Very good, very good. I think they are very savvy these days. So good young researchers are looking for, if I work on this, will I have employment at the end of my, when I graduate, whether it's a master's or a bachelor's or a PhD. And in my lab, we attract, everyone from high school students to undergraduates, to, master's students. So we created, I'm director of the materials program. We created a master's with a PhD, master's with thesis option. Previously, it was just coursework in the same time frame. And there's a fast track. If during the master's with thesis, they think, oh, I want to go for PhD, we have that fast track option, So, but I think this is particularly attractive because for these students, in the sense that if today's students want to make a difference to the world, they want to get into something. Job is not the only thing, but they want to make a difference, to make an impact. So this kind of thing that, look, pure water is really going to be critical in the future. These are the technologies. And if you work on this project, so they need to see a light at the end of the tunnel, but also what impact they can make, and whether they want to go to academia. They want a versatile option. When they graduate, can I go to academia? Can I go to a national lab? Can I join CAM? Can I join, a ConocoPhillips or Shell or whatever, So they want a whole suite of options, and projects like these that go from fundamental to applications, they have the entire choice. They can
Future and impact.
And exactly. And they can do a startup company, and they need help from us to do startup companies with technology that we can make available in places like CAM.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. I will move to Dr. Mariam. Maybe the same question, but from Qatari perspective. The pool of the students is not so big actually in Qatar. So how can you attract young good researchers to the field of membranes in specific, or in science and engineering in general? Dr. Mariam, please.
I agree with Dr. Karim. They are looking for the outcome, what they will work in the future. But as the student here, we are talking about the graduate or undergraduate students. We need to focus on how to provide them the right information that we have already. We have a problem in water in Qatar. We need to support those kind of research. So young researchers or the young people, they have a good mind of set. They might come up with a good ideas more than us. Like we are in the field of research for a very long time. But how we encourage them, if we provide them with a good research works, and the same time, this research can be developed to provide them a good job after they finish this research, I think they will work very hard, and this is will encourage them. Um, I'm talking about local
Yes.
students here in Qatar. This is what they think.
Yes.
This is what they are, the mindset of their thinking. This is the thing. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I want Dr. Zaidi also, if you can reflect on this point also. How can we attract? This is, I think, the problem of every researcher in Qatar, how to attract good young researchers. So, what is your opinion in this?
Yeah, again, thank you very much, Dr. Bukar. Yes, there are the ways actually. The thing is that this is saying the seeing is believing, okay? So nowadays, like I'm also teaching a course in, for example, water resources. And nowadays, we have a technology at our hand. This is one thing we can do using some of the software, some of the animations to show the things how they look from imagination, because some of the concept we teach in our courses, like when I studied, when you studied, we were not able to visualize, okay? So this is one thing in a course, those who are teaching, to attract this technology. I mean, if we take it further, it would be very beneficial. And not only this, the two aspect, the other aspect is the service to the community, because this, water, it is predicted now more than 1 million people do not have access to clean water. We know that, okay? And also in the future, the scarcity of water is going to increase, to be highlighted further. So this is another thing to make sure that you are
Yes.
serving the society, okay? Not only just looking for the high carriers, but and then you need to introduce the element of innovation. Now we have been focusing innovation, for the last 3-4 days. So if we come up with some innovative idea there, well, this is the product, okay? If you develop, you own it. You own it. This is your thing, your baby. You nurture, you develop, and you take it to the next stage. So that way, that will be more attracted and showing the benefits. Not it's a win-win situation. Benefits. I think there is some. Can you hear me? Yeah, there is some disturbance. Dr. Abubakar.
We can hear you, Dr. Zaidi. Go ahead.
We can hear you.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
We can hear you.
I think there was something saying okay. So the thing is that like a win-win situation, that when the youngsters join our research group, or of course they're looking forward their career path, how it will go, which way. And now we have smart technologies, integrating smart technologies into our research ideas. Okay, like when we were talking about smart membranes, for example, or smart water solutions. Okay, so this way we can attract more young minds, as Dr. Mariam she mentioned, because they are more smarter than us. Okay, I mean we capitalize on their intellect, so we throw them idea and they come up with a novel idea, and how we throw the idea. Okay, how plus who come up with a solution. Okay,
So
we
they
can
have
get a lot of things. This way we can engage, the young minds, the younger generation, attract to this because water is a lifeline. Okay, you cannot live without water. If we
issue
can
with
provide
the
access to water to the majority of the people in the planet. Okay, now in many parts of the world, people do not have access to water, clean water, sanitation. So these are some issues. These are some of the development goals of the United Nations. United Nations like goal number 6, all these things. So this way we can persuade the young mind and the youngsters and young researchers to come to research in this water sector. This way we have been successful. Like in my area, for example, my student, he designed this water filtration system and the membrane cell print, 3D printing, designing very scratch, and he was very successful. So I guided him, I persuaded him, and then he took to the next stage. So this way we can persuade and we can convince the people that this is this is, and combining the materials. We are Center for Advanced Materials. So now we have new materials coming, a new material design, how to incorporate these materials with coming up with a new idea and provide smarter solutions. This way we can.
Thank you, Dr. Zaidi.
And one more thing I would like to mention, Dr. Yeah, one more thing, because industries are also in our part. We have very strong collaboration in industry, like ConocoPhillips or the water industry in Qatar, QEWC, Karama. So if we are if they are on board to us, that will be more fruitful and helpful to come up with a smart solution and to convince the younger minds that, oh, this is you have the career over here. Okay, thank you very much.
So we have the industry man here, Dr. Sam. So how do you think about getting getting some future for young researchers, to attract good young researchers to academia, which also will be reflected on the industry at the end of the tunnel?
Well, thank you. I mean, we were talking in this webinar about some of those issues and challenges. Actually, I think for the students, like Dr. Karim mentioned, they need to find that what they are doing is meaningful. So when they really are involved with a project that they know what the outcome of the research is going to be implemented, I think that's a key point. But also being involved in the environmental science, sustainable development, this is a very important topic these days for a lot of the students. The future is magnificent for we're talking about renewable, climate change, water management, all of the United Nations Sustainable Development topics actually are going to be critical here. But for the student, actually, the most important is really, having this international collaboration, having the industry perspective. I'm proud to be part of an adjunct professor of the Center of Advanced Material, and I'm proud one of the first master theses that I was involved in. It won the award in a way because really Ali Samak actually he really did a very innovative work, and he was able to unlock his potential in a way. He was sitting with me, hearing different perspectives. Dr. Mariam giving him different perspective, and Dr. Karim and Dr. So that helps him to come up with good work that has really been so that this is kind of the example of success stories. So I think international collaboration, industry perspective, and will be a key and the topic itself is important.
Thank you, Dr. Samer. So, I want to end up with Dr. Muhammad Hassan. What do you think about what Dr. Samer mentioned regarding the role of students and the international collaboration? How did you see this in your project, in the oil water separation project with Dr. Karim and Dr. Samer? How did you see this international collaboration and the exchange of visits? How did it impact your project?
Yeah, actually adding, so my colleagues mentioned most of it actually, and I also like what Dr. Karim specifically mentioned about challenging the students. They may come up with some ideas that you never thought of, and they may come up with something that make us all rich. Right, Dr. Samer and Dr. Karim. So this is part of the deal actually. And Mr. Karim, please, open the share so I can. Yeah, there is one last few slides just to highlight the role of the students. Mr. Karim, please, if you can open the share. Not you, Dr. Karim. Sorry.
Yeah,
the share. Just to share some of the pictures. In fact, we have had very many youngsters participated in this work. We have high school students from Qatar, from the Qatar schools here, and under the program supervised by Dr. Noura Al-Sani actually, and her team, the Young Scientist Center. Muhammad and Saud, they participated in part of the membrane preparation and testing as well, and they are currently still working with us on this. Also, we have the chance to do exchange visits. Here is our friend Qadir from Dr. Karim group. He visited us. He did quite very interesting work. He's working in this video with Yara. Actually, teaching her how to do the 10 centimeter by 10 centimeter using the coating machine that we developed together here, and this is very much similar to the machines that Professor Karim has in his lab. Also, I would like to highlight that we also have many graduate students. We have Hussein, Qadir, Mustafa from USM, Daniel from USM. Hamza is visiting us, visiting intern from University of Nantes. in France, actually. Here is Ali. Ali also is with us. And if you don't mind, Dr. Abu Bakr, I would like to, at the end, before the end, just to give a couple of minutes for Ali and Qadir to tell us quickly about their experience. I would like also to thank Yara and Dr. Diba, Shifa. Those are part of the team. Ali also published a very interesting article in Polymer Reviews. It's a very good, high impact, very well-known journal in the polymer arena. Dr. Mashal from and Altaf and the rest of the team from Dr. Samir as well. Very, very helpful team. We also have another team from the young from high school team from Qatar as well. They worked in the project. So we have had many people, many youngsters who are interested. And now the question is, I guess, for the undergrad, and maybe the question is for Dr. Samir, how many of these Konoko is willing to hire in the near future? Maybe this will be very, very, very encouraging aspect of the participation, actually speaking. So if you don't mind, Dr. Abu Bakr, can we give a couple of minutes? We also
we don't have a couple of minutes, but we can have like 30 seconds for each for Qadir and Ali, just to introduce themselves and get them, you know. So
right,
please,
thank you, Doctor. Yeah,
because we don't have time. We're running out of time, unfortunately.
Okay, Ali, can you do
30 seconds each? Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, Ali, please. Ali, can you hear me?
Yes, Ali, you are muted, Ali.
Hello, Doctor. Yes, I can hear you. Wa alaikum assalam. I'm all good. Thank you so much. Good to see you all, doctors. If I can add just you know, a snippet of my experience for the past 2 years in Qatar University in terms of research, in terms of international collaboration, and in terms of industrial collaboration, I feel like it was the perfect mix for a student like me. I came in not knowing much. I came in with the potential, and I was lucky enough to see people that were able to develop this potential in me to be the student that I am today. I am actually, I would also like to let you know that I've been recently also accepted in a PhD program in the UK, top 10 UK university, and I feel like this would not have been possible without the material science program that I've been through, without the research that I conducted at CAM, and without the industrial input that I got from Dr. Samir. Because in terms of research, we're very focused on a small specific problem. We give 110% for this problem, but we don't, I feel like we lack the bigger picture, and that's where industry comes in, especially for a young student, and it tells you that, you know what, maybe you're focusing on the problem from the wrong angle. Like when I was trying to develop these fibers, I was trying to develop them as membranes, but then Dr. Samir was like, maybe they will not work as this, but they can work as that. And I feel like this is such a good thing to learn when it comes to developing your mindset to not only do research for the sake of research, but to do research for the sake of mankind, or to do research for the sake of the development of an important item or an important product or an important industry.
Thank you, Ali. Qadir also is Qadir is.
Yeah, Qadir, are you there?
Yes. Yeah. Good morning, everyone, and good evening.
Qadir, yes.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you for the.
Qadir, very quickly, please introduce yourself and.
Can you speak
my name is Khader, and I have been working with Dr. Alamgir Karim since 2 years now in the Houston lab. And recently I have visited Qatar University as well in the Center for Advanced Materials. And I have worked there for 3 months, and it has been a pleasure working there. And it was like, I think I am very blessed to get that opportunity to work on the things and develop on a scalability scale for industrial preparation of membranes. I really enjoyed working with the people in Dr. Muhammad Hassan's lab there, and we working together and going for the filtration to the GPC lab as well. And so far, I think it has been, I like the thing that we are approaching towards the industrial processing of these membranes on a very large scale. Although it has been a really diverse experience, I would say. Like after I worked on preparing the instrument, I see that the challenges in details, how the details matter in terms of making it to the industrial scale. So yeah, and
Thank you.
I would like to take this opportunity to thank Dr. Mohammed Hassan and especially the Qatar University and Dr. Alamgir Karim for having me this for giving me this opportunity, and also have visited ConocoPhillips Center, and it has been like a much advanced center, and seeing the different types of filtrations using different oil water emulsions and processed water and treated water that they are doing, and the instruments they use to characterize the separation of water purification materials. It has been a really great experience, and I would really love to work again after completion of my studies here, hopefully. And yeah, and thanks a lot.
Thank you. Wish you the best, and Ali, for your future. I had many questions actually from the audience, especially Dr. Mohammed Shamrour. So he's talking about is it a promising technology? The membrane technology is promising to treat saline or contaminated oil and gas water. I will just say the simple answer is yes. Also, he is directing a question to Dr. Mariam regarding this membrane she's doing right now. Is it different from what Ijral is using or not? So, Dr. Mariam, you have a comment on this?
Yes, I already answered his question.
Okay.
It's different, and this is a new one membrane under fabrication with the Arizona State University, because we are using a new mechanism, like the 3D printing in nanoscale.
Thank you. And will you see this technology available in Qatar, GCC, in future? So I think we hope actually Qatar started to do this, as Dr. Zaidi mentioned, with the Kiwik, and also Dr. Samir mentioned in ConocoPhillips. I think Qatar is going, heavily in the membrane technology, moving from, especially for water desalination, from the thermal desalination, the flash distillation units, to the reverse osmosis, or maybe the forward osmosis in the future. Then one last question: copolymer is efficient and feasible technology. So anyone from the panelists want to answer this? Is it a feasible technology?
I can answer that. I will at least try. Absolutely, because copolymers, like I mentioned, like a Kraton and other companies make these at a commercial scale by the tons. So the technology is there, and we just have to determine the conditions under which we can apply it to membranes, etc. And then the most efficient path, and then how to get them highly optimal materials. So my quick answer would be absolutely. It can get there.
So at the end, I like to thank everyone. It was a really fruitful forum discussion here, and all the panelists. Professor Karim, Professor Zaidi, Dr. Samir, Dr. Mohammed Hassan, Dr. Mariam Al-Ajji. Thank you so much for all of you for your time and for excellent presentations and demos you have mentioned, and actually for recommendations also. I like this so much. How to attract young students. Maybe it's, I think it will benefit for everybody, listening to us now. So I'd like to thank you all. And, yeah, it's a very important technology, and it's booming actually in the coming, future, especially if you know that Qatar or Saudi Arabia, for example, in 2030, it will use 50% of the oil production to water desalination. So you can imagine how much the membrane technology will impact this area here, especially the GCC. I'd like to thank you, all of you, and hopefully we can see you in the near future in another forum to highlight your excellent research for the Qatar University and Houston University research members. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I
Bye-bye.
would like to thank also the supporting team, especially Mr.
Yes,
Amani and
very
Karim,
much.
Yeah, thank you, Amani.
in making
We
this
appreciate
event a successful one. So
Thank you, Amani.
That's
Yes.
a big job, actually. Thank you, Amani, and thank you, Mr. Shusha. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. And
Thank
have
you.
a nice night, everyone. And have a nice morning, Dr. Karim.
Back to work.
Yes.
Right.
Okay, see
Assalam.
you. Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you.